Panthers fans. So, one day closer to camp. So yesterday I made a video. I'm trying to catch everybody up on what I've been talking about all summer long in the podcast. And one of the things that I talked about was the importance that I thought Denisenko was going to have in terms of we were going to have a role for him, not sure where, and that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I think what Denisenko does is going to affect one particular player that I'm wondering if he's ready to take a real jump. Now, at the end of the season, well, let's go all the way back to the start of last season. There was no Duclair, so there was a hole in the top 6. Okay? Now, we kind of had Reinhardt up there a little bit, and then Barkov got hurt, and there were so many hurt and injuries, some people getting sick and everything. The top 6, and really kind of the top 9, was just constantly fluid. I mean, there were times Eric Stahl was up there. Now, one of the players, and this is the subject of the video, Lundell. Now, when we got to the end of when we got to the Toronto and the Canes series, all of a sudden they put Nick Cousins up there in the second line with Bennett and Tkachuk, and it worked until it didn't. Now, Cousins' style, he can keep up with those guys. He can absolutely keep up with those guys. He can get the puck when it fits, with the exception of he doesn't have the skill level to finish, as we saw a couple of times, especially in the finals. He doesn't have the skill level to finish the opportunities that he would get playing on that line permanently. So as much as I liked how it worked during the Canes and the Toronto series, I think we kind of saw a little bit kind of like with Alex Lyon, the longer it went on, you kind of saw the holes in that theory. So I do believe Cousins should end up just competing for a fourth line spot, but you know, he's going to be a guy that if somebody gets hurt, he can go up and contribute. Now, the third line during the President's Trophy season, almost the entire season, was Lundell with Marchment and Reinhardt. And then last year, what they attempted to do, but we wouldn't really do because of the injuries, was Lundell with Lundell and Reinhardt. And interestingly enough, I believe Lundell got the same number of goals as Marchment did the year before. He might have been one off. But the point is that Lundell played 4C basically a whole season during the President's Trophy. Then last year he moved up, and he even had a couple of glimpses into the top 6. And that's my question here. Now, if Denisenko can come in and take the line, the third line spot, if we can put out Lundell with Denisenko and either Reinhardt or Rodriguez, and that's a viable line, and Denisenko can put the puck into the net, then we can fill that spot next to Bennett and Tkachuk with Lundell. We know he's got the size, we know he can do it, and we know he can finish. Okay, we know he can put the puck into the back of the net. My opinion is Lundell with Bennett and Tkachuk would be an absolute beast. Now, one of the things that I've kind of been talking about during the podcast over the summer is the possibility of top-loading that top 6, starting off with Tkachuk up top with Barkov, okay, and then maybe moving some pieces around. But a lot of that is going to depend upon what's Rodriguez going to do and what's Denisenko going to do. I think we know what Lundell can do, right? We know what Lundell can do. But a lot of us initially we thought, okay, it's Duclair gone, Rodriguez, and he's going to play up top with Barkov. But the more that I've looked at the lineup, I'm not 100% sold that that's the right thing to do. Now, I know it's not camp, and I know the lines are going to be fluid and all of that. But there's always a baseline of what you want, of what the coaches want. And the difference in the top 9, if Lundell can cut it, or excuse me, if Denisenko can cut it, or if he cannot cut it, is palpable. If Denisenko can come in and give us 10, even 12 goals next to Lundell and either Rodriguez or Reinhardt on the third line, Then the top 6 will be nice and filled out. You throw Luosterainen up there at on one of the wings, okay? Especially if you've got him playing with Bennett, you can devise plays where Luosterainen can take draws because he's the center as well. That's what I'm looking to see happen. So that's kind of why I was saying at the end of yesterday's video about how it's going to be really important how Denisenko plays. Because if he can't do it, I mean, I don't want to say there's nobody, but we need him to develop. Because if he can't perform on the third line, yeah, you could throw Cousins there, okay. But I don't know about his finishing. Would Cousins get you the same 12 that I'm hoping Denisenko could? Maybe. But we know Cousins' ceiling. I'm hopeful that Denisenko can develop a little bit more. But the key to it all is Luosterainen. If he continues to develop, okay? I mean, he's still a young guy. He's only had the 2 seasons with us. If he can continue to develop at the pace that he has developed, he's definitely going to fill a void in that top 6. And it's also going to help us later on if Luosterainen shows that he can be, I mean, I believe he can be a 25-goal guy. All right? I believe in the top 6, especially if you put him with a guy like Bennett. Bennett could chuck Luosterainen. Luosterainen is getting 25 goals, okay? And where that helps you, I talked about this. He just got an extension. What's it, $3 million I think he's getting paid? Good, young players on cheap deals that can score. You see what I'm saying? So when it gets to the point where, well, you got Reinhardt, you got Verhaeghe, you got Bennett, you got all these guys that are eventually going to need contracts, you have to have guys like what Owen Tippett would have been and what Luosterainen is now, good young players that you have for 2 or 3 years at a dirt cheap price that can give you production. But the key to being able to put Luosterainen in that top 6 really is Denisenko, because the options to put next to Lundell on that third line are slim. And that hampered Lundell's development last year. Let's not even joke about that. Let's talk about that for a half a second, okay? Last year, the third line was Lundell and whoever was healthy or playing like crap and didn't deserve to be in the top 6. I mean, that's basically what he was paired with all year. There was zero consistency whatsoever. He focused on defense a lot. It really hurt his offensive game. We are going to need all 4 lines scoring goals to start the season, especially because we all know about the situation with the defense. But we'll get into that for another day. So that was. Let me know your thoughts. That was it, short and sweet. I'm just trying to get into the groove of making videos again. I have a graphic. I don't think I'll post it here. But I have a graphic with the lines and the pairs that I thought that were going to start. I originally started with, I believe it's Luosterainen with Bennett and maybe Reinhardt. I'm not sure. But my idea, and we'll talk about this more in another video, I think to start the season we need to open it up. And I've talked about this. We need to open it up, top load that top 6. Make it heavy, right? Hell, just put everybody in the top 6. We are going to need goals. We are going to need goals. We are, in my opinion, we're going to need to be 2 different teams this year. We're going to need to be a team that plays a little bit more of an open style and can score some goals those first few months, however long it is before we have our defensive players back. And then once everybody's healthy, then maybe we can get into the groove that we were in at the end of last year. So, all right. Hit that subscribe button. Kyle and I had a good time streaming last night on Flying Fluffy Football. Small crowd, but that's okay. We'll be live again for the Dolphin game Sunday. Giants Cowboys Sunday night. And then Bills Jets Monday night. That should be fun. Appreciate the support. I'll see y'all again later.